Good morning, folks. This is Naeem Aslam live from London. I come with a wealth of 15 years of experience. During this time period, I have worked as a hedge fund trader for Bank of New York Mellon, as an equity trader with Bank of America, and currently providing services as a chief market analyst to EverTrade. Now, a bit of a housekeeping, as always, before we begin. Anything which will be discussed in this video cannot be perceived as an advice. If you are seeking for one, please do consider consulting with your own financial advisors. Now, one of the big question among investors and traders after the wild swings that we have seen in the crypto market is what do these swings mean for the crypto market? And say that is exactly what we will be discussing. But in addition to that, we will also be discussing commodities. And by that, what I mean is gold prices and, of course, crude oil. So why don't we begin with the latter part first? So when we look at the commodity prices, if you have seen our previous video, the technical analysis video that we have done on gold prices, we talked about how gold prices have massively picked up upward momentum. Now, of course, on the fundamental side, that happened because of two particular reasons. Number one, concerns about rising inflation, soaring yields, they've eased off massively. And number two, on the Federal Reserve side, we've seen this consistency and a very clear message that the Federal Reserve isn't really going to do anything to its monetary policy. And that brought enormous amount of a weakness for gold prices. In fact, on Friday, gold prices recorded their best weekly gains in nearly 4 months. So that really tells you that how much of a strength is there in terms of a gold price and how investors and traders are really backing this particular price move. Now, in terms of a technical analysis video, what we really, education or analysis, what we really need to focus on is the daily time frame and the price actions battle with its 50 and 100-day simple moving average. Of course, there is no doubt that the price has won its battle with the 50-day simple moving average. And that means that now the journey is highly likely to continue towards the 1800 price level. Gold prices are very likely to touch that price. And that is where our next resistance is as well. That is going to be between 1800 to 1815. That it's sort of a price zone where we could see gold prices retracing to the downside, or at least in the short term, we could see prices, fluctuating or finding some sort of a ceiling there. Now, in terms of oil prices, of course, there's all the focus is about how economic activity is progressing, coronavirus vaccine is going on, how economic data is really coming, and more importantly, there's some of the adverse headlines which are out there that how coronavirus cases have started to ramp up. Because especially in the UK, in London, where I am based, I see that yes, coronavirus restrictions have eased off, but people are out there on the streets mingling like there is no tomorrow. There is literally no concept of social distancing over here. Streets are absolutely rammed and jammed. If you have not seen any of the British newspaper, I recommend you to have a look at it. And so, of course, for our discussion, that means that we are likely to see more of those COVID cases numbers coming shooting to the upside once again. Whether we will see another lockdown, that is a separate question, and we don't know. But one thing is for sure: the Prime Minister Boris Johnson will need to address the rising COVID coronavirus numbers if they begin to get, especially if they begin to get out of control. Now, let's move our focus quickly to cryptos. What happened? Over the weekend, we had this adverse headline about Bitcoin, about cryptos, that yes, US lawmakers going to go after those firms which are involved in money laundering. Nothing new about that, because from day one, we have seen these news, we have seen these headlines, we have seen officials talking about it. The fact is, today, we are in a very different landscape, in a very different time zone, where firms are encouraged and they feel actually a lot more encouraged to comply with the regulations, to comply with the KYC issues or concerns, because they have a clear roadmap to follow, which is led by Coinbase, and how much valuation is there in terms of that particular companies. So for many crypto companies, it is much better for them to comply with the regulations, work within that regulatory framework, and then go for those public listing and get those massive valuations. So I think those concerns are, of course, a little bit blown out of proportion, and that brought that massive weakness, which pushed the prices towards a 52,000 price level. Now, speaking of the price, there were two important price points. Number one was your 60,000 price, $60,000 price level. Now, a break of that price has sent a very bearish signal to the community, because now we have, now we have not only broken that price level, the traders are wondering what is the next price level. Are we going to go towards 40,000 or 35,000 or 30,000? How big this correction is really going to be? The answer to that question lies within the daily time frame and the price battle with the 50-day simple moving average. If we can stay above the 50-day simple moving average on the daily time frame, folks, then we are very much likely to continue to see the momentum for Bitcoin prices to move to the upside. And as I said earlier today, I have done a technical analysis covering Bitcoin, covering Ethereum, and of course covering XRP, Ripple's XRP as well. So far, out of these three coins, Ripple's XRP earlier today, when we did the analysis, had the most amount of momentum. Why? Because on the 30-minute time frame, we saw Ripple's XRP breaking above the 100-day simple moving average, while others are still struggling with the 50-day simple moving average or so. So that is what we really got to keep a focus on. Have a look at that particular video, and if you have any further questions, feel free to come back to me and post your comments over here. And guys, if you like the content, please smash that like button, because it helps us on with Google's algorithm. That's all for now. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys same place tomorrow.